Hey, Annie, how are you?
I'm doing well. Well, thank you. So good to see you as well.
Thank you. Okay, so you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and the context that you work in?
hmm what I do is I work on the product design team at a market leading tech company. They are a global tech company, and currently we service a lot of the Fortune 500. We
Okay,
have a big, big footprint in Europe and in North America, and we're constantly growing.
great. Thanks for that. So, before we started working together, what was your biggest challenge?
Yeah, so I had a few challenges. So one of them was I'm an ambitious person. I always want to make sure that I'm constantly growing every day. One of my personal mantras is I want to be better than I was yesterday. And I felt that I wasn't achieving that at my current state, as well as um, I was trying to find strategies and I was struggling of managing up. And I didn't quite know how to do that in the context of who I wanted to be and where I wanted to go and where the company wanted to go. So at that point, there was a bit of, after going through your coaching, I understood that what that friction was causing between what I wanted to do with my career and where the company was going.
Yeah, yeah. I remember, that there needed to be some clarity around that. Yeah, I do remember that well. So can you walk me through what was happening, what you tried, your attempts to gain that clarity, where your frustration was,
Yeah.
how long you'd been stuck?
Right. I felt like this for a couple years, and it goes back to the common but not so common insight in terms of what got you here may not get you to where you're trying to go, right? So what
Mm,
got me here was a lot of hard work by myself. I'm using a lot of inertia, pushing a boulder up the hill by myself, right?
mm,
And f and that skill was great to break me out of just a normal employee status, but once where I wanted to go, which you sort of helped me articulate, is you need different strategies once you get to an executive level. You need to be able to delegate. You needed to be able to be more intentional. You need to be able to influence. And you need to be able to manage up
mm,
in a certain way.
mhm. Yeah. So what would you say was the turning point for you? Is there anything that we did in particular, I don't know, stakeholder mapping or presenting a business case or
Yeah, I remember quite vividly that you had this worksheet and it was called I believe it was called an executive dashboard. It was what I remember it was two columns, what your personal goals were and what the company's goals were. And it was very insightful in terms of okay, what I do, I'm a director of design. And when it comes to design, you're always advocating for the user. And sometimes there's there's many ways of advocating. Sometimes you can advocate and you can be on a soapbox and no one else is listening, or you can advocate in a way in the context of how your company will hear you. And I think
Mhm,
mapping and you helping me break down different aspects of my role and responsibility and having each one of those mapped to the company's goals and visions and how are they executing that, that just framed up a lot of things for me and just matched up the company and my ambitions.
mm, beautifully said. Yeah, getting in the mind of your customer, even if it's an internal customer like the company or your stakeholders. Yeah, it's quite a mind shift to make going from manager to executive.
Mhm.
And if I recall correctly, you did actually get the promotion, right? It took a little while, but yeah, I think it was like a year or something like that, a year and a half, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
took a while. Let's see. So, tell me how you were feeling before the coaching and how you're feeling now.
Yeah, I really couldn't connect the dots. I was feeling frustrated. I didn't feel that I was making any traction. And, sometimes people, they won't tell you outright, but you can feel it. And now I could put words to it. After working with you, what that meant was influence. I was not
Mm,
able to influence, projects that I felt that were important. So that caused just a whole lot of frustration because I didn't have any clarity, I didn't have any strategies. And also, I was managing a team, and I was trying to make them a high-performing team, but at that point in my career, I would say that I wanted to give more, but I couldn't give anymore.
yeah. Yeah, you are getting, it's tough to be a manager because you're getting it from the top and below. There's only so much to give,
Right.
right? Yeah. Yeah. So what did you change in your approach? What's
I think
different?
I think one of the things that I changed in my approach was being a lot more intentional. Being a lot more intentional when it came to meetings, being a lot more intentional how I talk to my employees, being a lot more intentional about how I documented things,
Mm,
right? And what I mean by intentional, at least for me, I'm speaking to somebody. There is an intentionality in terms of where is this conversation? How's this conversation going to create value?
mm,
Is it going to create? I'm hoping to create value for not only for myself, because that's another sort of mindset shift. But is this conversation, is this meeting gonna drive value for the overall organization? When it comes to documentation, I'm just not writing like, I have my personal journal. If I'm writing something, writing an email or taking some notes down, I'm always thinking, how can this piece of information become valuable to my employees or to somebody that I'm reporting up to, right? So everything has a bit of intentionality in terms of value and impact.
mhm. Yeah, I love the alignment in that. And I do remember asking you at one point, you had such great ideas, and I was like, how are you going to show that? How
Mm,
are you going to prove that? Like, what kind of metrics are you using? Are you tracking this stuff? Yeah, because it kind of solidifies your case. Yeah, beautiful. And that is business case, not legal case. Oh my gosh. All right, last question, I promise. So if you had to put a dollar value on this coaching, um, you know, what would you say? What would you say to somebody who's on the fence about this?
I would say it is so empowering. It's so enlightening. You can't really put a dollar value on it. But if you hold my feet to the fire, a dollar value you could equate it to an executive, salary, an executive impact, an executive influence. I think that's how I would put it. But really, it's you can't put a value on it because it's not only changing your career, it's changing your life because there are tools and tactics that you had taught me that I'm using with my son, that I'm associating with my neighbors, I'm using now I'm not going out and trying to break down the metrics of a tech company with my neighbor, right? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is when I'm interacting with people outside of outside of work, there is when I think about impact and value when I'm talking to them is, are they influencing me? How are they influencing me? How are they impacting me? And am I impacting them? Right? So
Mm,
that's that's another way.
beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. So it sounds like it was worth the time we spent. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to do this, to talk to me about what the impact was. Really appreciate it.